Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Predictions with your friend and host, the PCJ, the Pop Culture Junkie. We're here today to talk about Super Showdown this Friday in Saudi, in whatever city it is, in Jeddah, that's right, yeah. Anyways, they are headed again back to the Middle East to do a glorified house show. The one and only way we're going to get any kind of pyro and huge major legend stars in their opinion, because we have to have that. We can't have the guys on the roster working and busting their butts every day, day in and day out. And not just the guys, the females too, because hello, we're going to a place where no women are allowed. No women allowed at all. You can't perform there or you will die, so we can't have that. So what did we get this past week on Raw? We had a few segments with the women, give them a little bit of a taste. But just like a year ago, 1 year ago, we had the first Greatest Royal Rumble. Ugh, don't get me started on that title. But last year we had the Greatest Royal Rumble. And what's the main thing we remember about that show last year? Titus O'Neil slipping and falling and almost really seriously hurting himself on his way out to the ring for the Greatest Royal Rumble match. That's it. That's all I remember, because that's the only thing they really wanted to milk about the whole show afterwards. But we're going back again because, if I remember right, WWE has signed like a 10-year deal with the people in that area to come there at least twice a year, because we had the Greatest Royal Rumble, and then later on in 2018 we had Crown Jewel, where we had Ancient Degeneration X against the Ancient Brothers of Destruction, and man, was that a mess. Well, once again, we're getting a huge blockbuster of a icon match, as they're labeling it, where we have The Undertaker, who should just retire already. But I'm sure he's getting paid like $2 or $3 million just for this 2-minute match he's going to have against Goldberg. Goldberg, yes. We have not seen Goldberg since WrestleMania last year, when he lost to Brock Lesnar, losing the Universal title that he never should have won from Kevin Owens the month before that. But yeah, we have Goldberg versus The Undertaker, and probably going to close out the show with that. Why do we have to have this match? Because the people over there want that. And who remembers this, by the way? Last year, when they brought the show there for the first time for the Greatest Royal Rumble, the people in charge that, shelled out all the millions and millions of dollars for this, they wanted Yokozuna and Ultimate Warrior to be a part of the show. And yeah, we know why they weren't there. Who knows who they were asking for this year, and they were probably like, can we get, we want Hot Rod, yes, and we want Bruiser Brody, yes, bring those around, and Chris Benoit, we need Chris Benoit here too, can you arrange that? It's like, do these guys even watch the show? I remember watching Crown Jewel and Greatest Royal Rumble last year, the first one, Greatest Royal Rumble. I remember watching that show, and you see the audience. The floor seats are reserved only for the super high important people, not the real fans. And I say that because you've got like 20 people on each side of the ring, sitting ringside. The whole rest of the floor is empty, okay? They've got these big plush, like home theater seats, and you can only seat, like, again, like 20 people on each side of the ring, all four sides. And then the rest of the crowd in the upper levels and up are made up of families, but you can only have single men, or you can have families. You can bring your wife and kids, whatever. But that was it. And I think they said the people that were there solo, the men that were going solo, had to sit way up in the nosebleed, because they wanted to have as many families in the first level up, the first floor level up from floor, to make it look like a normal crowd, which we all knew was ridiculous. If you go onto the Ticketmaster sites, or the WWE Ticketmaster, whatever it's called, go to the site and check out how they have the seats available, and it's ridiculous. It's like insulting that WWE is going through with this deal, with all the horrible things that have been in the news in the last couple of years, or many years, that they're just allowing them to be treated like a circus act, which, I mean, yes, wrestling is, a circus act, but it's ridiculous. You're not allowed to bring half your roster there because they could die. And you want to say, oh, women's evolution and progress. BS, okay? You want to make progress, then you say our whole show goes or we don't go. That's a statement, and I can back you up more with that kind of a statement. But they're not going to do that, because it's all about that Saudi money. Anyways, let's get to the predictions here. Going to go over the card. Now, really, if you haven't seen Crown Jewel or Greatest Royal Rumble, it's just a glorified house show, because I don't see how any storyline stuff's really going to come into play here. Yeah, they're going to have people fighting in a match that maybe have a feud going on, but there's not going to be any progression. There's not going to be anything that's going to solve anything. You're still going to have 2 weeks from now, we got Stomping Ground. That's the next pay-per-view. And we're just going to have the same matches or same people involved in the same kind of matches. There's not going to be anything resolved at this show. I can't see them getting that unless they shelled out a whole lot of money and said, we definitely want somebody to change the title. We want this person to win a title, whatever. We'll see what happens. I mean, do we really think we're going to see R-Truth running through the crowd with the 24/7 title belt? I think not. Pretty sure we will not see something like that. We won't have any of that zany stuff happening for, a lot of reasons. But let's get to the card. There is a total of 9 matches announced, and let's run through this real quick. So first off, we have Lars Sullivan versus Lucha House Party, 3-on-1 handicap match. I mean, Lars is just going to murder all 3 Lucha House Party members, and that'll be the end of it. So Lars Sullivan will get the win here. We got the Universal title match. Seth Rollins defending against Baron Corbin. Seth Rollins, of course, will pick up the win. We might get a tease from Brock Lesnar showing up, pretending to cash in, because obviously that was why on Monday Brock Lesnar beats the ever-loving hell out of Rollins. He kills him with a chair multiple times. Rollins was bleeding on his back. He got F5'd. He got kicked in the balls. And Heyman's like, here you go, cash in. And Brock's like, no. Friday. He's like, why? Saudi money. So yeah, Seth Rollins, he'll get the win here. No way Baron Corbin gets the title. No way. And we'll get a tease. I don't think we're going to get an actual cash in. Unless, of course, like I said, they just paid extra for that. Next up, we got the WWE title match. Kofi Kingston defending against Dolph Ziggler. Huh? Why? I don't know. I've really lost interest. Kofi Kingston, I'm so happy he got the title, and I'm glad he's getting a push finally, the way I always felt he should have gotten 10 years ago. But he really should have dropped the New Day act, because the New Day is just weighing him down. Xavier's not helping. Big E not helping. They should have dropped the whole New Day act before Mania and let Kofi just go on his own and have some feuds one-on-one. Because the whole coming out, dancing and pancake BS that I'm so sick and tired of, it's making him look like a joke as WWE champion. It really is. So, but Dolph Ziggler is not coming in to get a title run. So, yeah, Kofi Kingston will get the win here. Then we got a singles match. Shane McMahon against Roman Reigns. Oh, my gosh. I cannot believe this is actually a match or a feud. It has been so boring the last few weeks on Raw and SmackDown because of the whole wild card thing. Don't get me started on that. I'm sorry to be so negative. I want some positive feelings here. Okay, real quick, time out. Why is WWE not even trying right here? I mean, we just had an incredible NXT pay-per-view or network show this past Saturday. TakeOver 25, absolutely amazing. I thought about doing a recap on it, but I couldn't do it justice. You got to go watch the show. Go watch TakeOver 25. Whether you watch NXT weekly or never seen a show yet, just go watch it. You will be amazed at how good the matches were. And before that, a week or so ago, we get AEW's Double or Nothing. I'm not saying the entire show was the greatest show on earth. Some people say it, but I think those are the ones that are like, everything else has been so terrible in like WWE. This was an amazing show, and it was amazing. There were some great matches, and I really enjoyed it. But this is what we get from WWE following these kind of amazing shows. One is under their umbrella, NXT, but we get Roman Reigns against Shane McMahon, a feud that no one really asked for or needed. You got Shane McMahon with the B team at first, then we have the Revival, then we have Elias and Drew McIntyre. I mean, these guys are mega stars that really have a lot of potential to do a solo career. A stable could be built from them, but they're just his patsies. They're just treated as Shane McMahon's whipping boys. That's ridiculous. Okay, back to the predictions. Roman Reigns versus Shane McMahon. Obviously, spear pin. Roman Reigns wins. I mean, what else is going to happen? I would say maybe if this was a no DQ match or a hardcore match or no holds barred match or a street fight, whatever, then you might see Shane get the win here with all the whipping boys coming in to help out. But yeah, I don't see Roman Reigns not winning, obviously. Come on. And we got the WWE Intercontinental title match. Finn Balor defending against Andrade Cien Almas, and this should be an amazing match if they get a lot of time. Hopefully it will be an incredible matchup. Pretty sure Finn's going to win, but I would like to see Andrade get the title and have a solid heel run as Intercontinental Champion. That would be amazing. Next up, we have Braun Strowman versus Bobby Lashley. Oh, good Lord, this is going to be so boring. Braun Strowman will get the win after a running power slam. That's it. Then we have a 50-man battle royal. And yeah, they announced this on Raw, SmackDown. They brought it up before. We know nothing about who's going to be in this match. I mean, pretty sure it's going to be just whoever they can bring over. I'm sure we might see Hawkins and Ryder. Maybe they're going to be in there. We haven't seen the tag champs on Raw forever. We won't see Dan Bryan because Dan Bryan and I believe Kevin Owens, I think they both said they weren't going to go, which I totally respect. If you know, John Cena, of course, said, I'm not going to Crown Jewel, whatnot. So respect that as well. But who knows, we're going to see 50 people coming in. Might get a few NXT guys, possibly. Will be a nice surprise there. But 50-man Battle Royal, it's different than the Greatest Royal Rumble last year, which I really didn't like that they called it the Greatest Royal Rumble. But also, this is different because it's going to be 50 participants in the ring starting at once, and then the battle begins, and everyone just gets tossed out. Now, Strowman already has the Greatest Royal Rumble Championship title belt. Is he going to show up carrying the title belt at least, just to show he was the champion of the Rumble? Because we haven't seen that belt since he won it. We didn't see the trophy ever since either, the one that he couldn't pick up, that Vince was like, no, don't pick it up. It's probably real delicate. So who's going to win this Battle Royal? I'm going to say maybe Drew McIntyre, if he's going to be over there. I'm going to say Drew McIntyre. They're going to pick somebody big, muscly, whatever. I'm going to say maybe it's going to be Drew McIntyre. That's about it. Yeah, I'm going to go with Drew McIntyre. Then we have Goldberg versus The Undertaker. How about we, instead of predicting who's going to win, how about we try to predict how many minutes this match will actually go? Including entrances and all, this match could be about 10 minutes long. You take away the entrance time, the match will be about a minute. Maybe 2 minutes. But, I mean, Goldberg, we haven't seen him since WrestleMania last year. He's only here because the Saudis are paying the money to have a legend. It's just like, Crown Jewel had DX and the Brothers of Destruction. Last at the Greatest Royal Rumble, you had Triple H versus John Cena for no reason, which we'll get to that in a second. But yeah, we got Goldberg versus Undertaker. Undertaker's going to have to win here, I believe. I don't see why Goldberg would come in just to, pin the Undertaker. So I'm going with Undertaker. He's going to get the win. And finally, we have Triple H versus Randy Orton in a match nobody needs to ever see again. I saw this match live at WrestleMania 25 in 2009. It was a snore fest, god awful. Triple H is one of the great wrestlers of all time. He's one of my favorites of all time, and he defended the title at WrestleMania 25, and I was so happy he didn't lose the title. But I was so furious. That was my first and only WrestleMania, and I had to see Randy Orton in the main event. Oh, it was horrible. So Randy Orton versus Triple H. Randy Orton's still more the active wrestler because he's on SmackDown every week. I mean, he doesn't really do anything. He just comes out and does the very horrible Diamond Cutter ripoff. And then Triple H, he's sometimes on there as just a talking personality. But I'm going to go with Triple H. Okay, Triple H get the win. He lost last year to Cena, so he'll probably get the win this year against Orton. All right, there we have it. That is the entire card. I'm sorry to be so negative. I want to be more positive, but I'm not really excited about this show because of all the serious and realistic reasons. The matches, could be really entertaining. I mean, house shows are amazing. I love going to live events, and house shows are fun. And that's what this really is a glorified house show, but we're going to get pyro and whatnot, and then you can see it on the network and such. But really, it's like, you don't need to go there. You don't need the money. You got billions of dollars already. Just, have a little pride in your product and don't make your people represent stuff that we know is, like, wrong. So that's just how I feel. All right, real quick, I want to get to some news and rumors. Now, recently, of course, we know Dean Ambrose, a.k.a. now known as Jon Moxley, or known again as Jon Moxley, because that was his name beforehand, before he became Dean Ambrose. He has made his debut at AEW Double or Nothing. He's part of the company now, and it was incredible. It was a great way to end the pay-per-view. Well, recently, he has had a couple of podcast conversations, and I highly recommend you go check him out. You can check it out on Chris Jericho's podcast. Very, very good. If you were wondering about Dean Ambrose, why he was doing certain things the last year and a half, 2 years, what they were doing with the whole Bane character, what does that smell, and the, weird, just really bad booking of Dean Ambrose. Listen to that podcast. It is very insightful. You can tell he's got nothing to gain by burying Vince, but he buries Vince just by being completely honest. And he says at the very beginning of the podcast, I won't spoil the whole podcast, but he says at the very beginning to Jericho, hey, I worked there for 6 years. If anything, I can always say I got a lot from WWE, but the main thing I met my wife, and he's grateful for that. He's grateful for what he was able to experience in the company, but the way they booked him for the last several years was just ridiculous. He was miserable for the last 6 years. He didn't understand why they felt the need to micromanage everything about him. And it's like, yeah, you are somebody that is a actual pro wrestler. You're not an actor that needs to be coached. You go in, you do your matches, you do your promos, bam, you're done. But the micromanaging that Vince wants to do lately for the last 10 years more, it's just ridiculous. It's horrible. And they kill the really good talent by doing this. But go check out that. He also did another one with Wade Keller on the Torch. And on that one, he talked to Wade about something I was really curious to hear him talk more about, which was the Brock Lesnar match he had at WrestleMania. It was a street fight against Brock Lesnar. And I remember whenever Dean Ambrose was WWE champion, he did a podcast for Stone Cold Steve Austin's podcast, where they did the podcast after Raw, where he's sat in the back and talked to Austin, and they did it on the network, and then you can listen to the podcast on Stone Cold's podcast channel. And in that, he talks, or Stone Cold asked him, like, hey, tell me about this, tell me about your feud with Brock and whatnot. And you can see Dean's like sitting there, he keeps looking off to the side on the video, and he's like, I mean, I don't know what to say, I don't know what to say. And it's because Vince is standing there like 2 feet off camera. He wants to make sure Dean doesn't say anything he shouldn't say. And Dean's like, finally just fed up, and they're like, well, Brock didn't want to do anything. He didn't want to do anything. I had all these ideas, but he didn't want to do anything. That's all we really got on the Stone Cold podcast. On the Wade Keller one, we got a lot more insight and detail, because now he's not in WWE. He can say whatever he wants. He's free to speak. And I want to be very clear about this. From what I've read and seen on these podcasts, Dean Ambrose, Moxley, whatever you want to call him, he's not burying WWE in a spiteful or vengeful way. He is just being very open and honest. And he's really just confirming a lot of things that myself and a lot of fans know, that Vince needs to step down. He needs to let someone else control the company. Let it be Triple H. Let it be Stephanie, whatever. But let it be Triple H, obviously, because of an amazing job he's done with NXT. But Vince is out of touch. He's outdated. He needs to retire and just walk away and let us enjoy the product. And it's just horrible. It's horrible what they've done with a lot of the talent. Look at all the people that were amazing and awesome in NXT, and now where they are in WWE. Look at EC3. Look at Bobby Roode, Shinsuke Nakamura, Drew McIntyre, Andrade. I mean, so many people. You can say, oh, well, they had a little bit of a push or a little bit of a title run. No, nothing compared to what they can potentially do. And it's just sad how much they're burying their own talent to be like, you know what, let's bring back Goldberg. Let's bring back John Cena for another this. So it's like, no, you have the best talent you've had in almost 20 years, and you are not using anything correctly. You just keep repeating the same recycled crap. But yes, I highly recommend you go check out those podcasts from The Torch and from Jericho's. Very entertaining, very insightful. They're both well over an hour, like 2 hours long or whatever, but the time flies and it's very insightful. So I definitely wanted to recommend that. All right, before we wrap this up, I want to get to some fan questions. I'm always on Twitter during the live shows, so I will be live tweeting during the Super Showdown. I think it's like 11 o'clock in the morning Central Time here in Houston. But yeah, it's like a daytime because it's like nighttime their time, over on the other side of the world. But we got some fan questions sent in, and if you want to ever send me questions on these videos, just follow me on Twitter, PopCultureJunk2, and I will give you a shout out on the videos. So first up, we got Kevin Haig asking, which mid-card talent do you think is ready to move up to the main event level? I mean, it seems like everybody is mid-card now, unless you're Brock Lesnar or Roman Reigns. Even the WWE champion and Universal champions, I think, are looked at as mid-card, Kofi and Seth, because, again, unless you're Roman Reigns or Brock Lesnar or The Undertaker or Goldberg or whatever, Vince is like, you're whatever. But who do I think is ready to move up? I mean, Elias should have already been pushed more than he has been. Samoa Joe as well, Drew McIntyre, Andrade, Finn Balor, all these guys. Kevin Owens, okay, he was at he had a title shot at the most recent pay-per-view, but still, he's still treated as a mid-card. Sami Zayn, what are they doing? They brought him back, and now he's just getting jobbed out again. It's just, yeah, there's a lot of talent. Nikki Cross, such a waste of her debut. I mean, I don't even know what they're doing with her character. There's lots of guys and gals that are ready to be moved up and treated seriously, but they're not. Josh Williberg asks, how long do you think this show will go? I'm going to say it's probably going to be about 5 hours. There's going to probably be a kickoff show or a pre-show, whatever. I don't think there's any matches. None of the matches that were advertised show pre-show or kickoff, so there'll be 5 hours for that probably total. So 4 hours for the actual show, and then an hour for the pre-show. What match, if any, are you looking forward to? I think the Andrade versus Finn Balor, that'll be the most entertaining one for me. Ziggler and Kofi, you know they're going to put on a great match if they're given the right time, so that could also be good. And the 50-man Battle Royal will be entertaining. I'm just not sold on, probably I'm not going to like who wins. McIntyre, like I predicted, then I'll be happy. If it was Kevin Owens, if he was going back, it'd be good, but he's not going to be there. Sami Zayn, I think, as well, but he won't be there. Obviously, he can't be there. Your thought on Boombox Brock? You know what? I actually laughed like crazy the first night he came out doing that, and then I cringed when I saw they made it into a boombox. The whole dancing in the ring in front of Kofi, I love the memes that people have been making with the different music. It's been hilarious. But it looks like the most fun he's had at all, or cared to put into anything, was just doing that boombox dancing. Samantha S. asks, after the fan reaction that happened with Undertaker last year, what kind of reaction do you think his match with Goldberg will get? I don't know, because it's so weird. When you look at this, at these shows over in the Middle East, it's like, who are these matches and who are these shows for? Because the people that are sitting ringside that want the closest seats, the plush, luxury seats, when you look at the crowd, and I saw this the entire show, most of them are just sitting there looking at their phones because they don't really care about this. They're just there because it's the cool thing to be there, or it's like you're showing off that, hey, I'm here. Even though you don't care about it, you're letting all your people know, or the people in your country know, hey, I'm better than you because I'm at this, special event. Even though I don't care about wrestling or the matches or anything to do with it, I mean, how many people did you really see standing up and actually getting into it, cheering? Maybe they're not allowed to. I don't know, but I saw no interest in those people. You pan the camera out to the crowds in the upper levels and to the nosebleed. Those people are actually kind of getting into it. You see little kids up there that are actually kind of having fun, and that's great. I'm not against the kids having a good time. They need to. They deserve it. But yeah, the people at ringside just seem like they're not interested in anything they're doing at all, and they're just like, we just, we showed that we can get you over here if we have enough money. That's all it is. So what kind of reaction do I think this match will have? I don't think Goldberg's going to get that much of a reaction. I think it's going to be people enjoying more Undertaker being there, just like always. Bryce Hall asks, any chance WWE is swerving us and Brock cashes in on Kofi instead of Seth Rollins? I would prefer it, because at least that would make sense. Why don't you want to go for the top title? I don't know why they're trying to make the Universal title into this big legendary thing. It's not. The title's been around for roughly 4 years, I think, or 3 years, right? 3 years. We've had a handful of champions, and I think only 2 people that have held the title. Well, I guess 3, because Roman Reigns held the title briefly. So we've had 3 champions that were not like part-timers. Okay, Finn Balor I can't really count because he had it for 1 day, even though he was the very first champion. Then we had Kevin Owens, the greatest Universal Champion in my opinion. Then we had Seth Rollins, and then also Roman Reigns. So I guess we have 4 people that quote-unquote were not part-timers. But then who else do we had that was a Universal Champion? Brock Lesnar and Goldberg. Brock Lesnar, Brock Lesnar, Brock Lesnar, okay? Why has he had that title so many times? It's killed the belt, in my opinion, before it even got started. But yeah, why not cash in on Kofi and get the main belt, WWE title? But I guess, Brock doesn't want to go on SmackDown. He hasn't been on there in forever. Even though I think there's a chance he might do that, cash in, and then he'll be on SmackDown, which is what I think Fox wants. I think they want Brock Lesnar on that show. So very likely he will cash in on Kofi. I don't think it's going to be this Friday, but very likely towards summertime before we go to the Fox channel, that'll be happening. All right, everybody. Well, that is it. Thank you so much for your questions. Appreciate it. Send me more questions for Friday. After the Super Showdown show that afternoon, I'll be posting my spoilers, recap, and results video. And you can also send me questions on Twitter during the Super Showdown show, and I'll answer them on the recap video. All right. Well, everybody, if you have a chance to see the show this Friday, I know it's 11 o'clock in the morning my time. I don't know what time it'll be yours, but pretty much everybody's going to be at work or at school or something. So good luck, hopefully, being able to see the show, or maybe just have to watch it later on in the evening when you get home. So we'll see what the turnout is. We'll see what kind of show they put on for us. I'm looking forward to at least seeing, again, the Battle Royal and Andrade versus Finn Balor, Kofi versus Ziggler. Those will be entertaining. And it's nice to see a show where you get pyro, even though it's, over there, not in our hometowns. How weird was it on SmackDown? Goldberg came out on SmackDown, 0 pyro. I've never seen Goldberg make an entrance and not have his pyro shooting up in his face, breathing out the smoke, and then kicking and punching and whatnot. That was so bad. They couldn't even do that. I mean, bring out the sparklers for Gilbert at least, like you would back in the day, and give that to Goldberg. All right, everyone. Well, enjoy the show. I hope you enjoy the predictions, and I will see you again on Friday for the recap, spoilers, and results show. So everyone have a great day. Enjoy the show. I'll talk to you later. This is PCJ, the Pop Culture Junkie, signing out.